So, this episode is actually a voice note that I sent to a client. She asked me a really great question. She sent me a message to say, "Hey, I would love to know what wakes you up in the morning. What gets you out of bed and inspired in your work, in your personal life, and with your connection to something bigger." And so I left her a 7-minute audio that you're going to get in this podcast about that. And she said to me, I really love watching documentaries, for example, to see what people are doing in their lives. What are they doing behind the scenes? So I just pressed record and sent her this audio, and her feedback was that it was so valuable. I thought, why not share it with you guys here on the podcast? So here you go, my audio note to her about what inspires me and some of the tools and the things I'm doing on the daily to really enjoy and have a fulfilled life. You are so wonderful. This is such a beautiful question. No, you are not crossing a line. Are you kidding me? It's a great question. And also, I'm the same way. I love to watch documentaries on people that inspire me. I always end up finding great documentaries. Sometimes I don't know who they are. I'm just like, that one looks good. And then I'm like, oh, I now know how I watched that. So it's funny you asked that because in the last year, I've really looked at that, and I've looked at it from the place of not what wakes up and gets me going, but what are my most important values in life? And how can I prioritize those? Because I don't tend to do I'm going to do this for my business or this for my kids. Like, it never has been like that. So I was like, okay. And I think that's what you're asking. Like, there's a 3D way of doing it. Like some people do, like, I'm going to work hard and make this money and get this house or this relationship. And then there's like a more like I've always functioned from like, what am I here for? That kind of ultimate question I think all humans have. And when I really spent time with like, what do I value the most? Like, freedom was my number one thing. Now, I know freedom means different things for different people because it has a lot of elements, but like expression and joy. And so I basically, and like you said, I put my attention, I've really trained myself because I can be a perfectionist. So it's easy for me to look at what's not working, but I've always tended to look for what is instead. So it's more like I wake up with this question of what can I create today? What lights me up? Where's the energy flowing? And I follow that. And it's been years of playing with this, but I think there was a real key piece when I sat down and actually wrote like kind of my own personal manifesto, which isn't a list of values, but it really helped me get clear on what am I here for? Because I would say it's this freedom of expression of being me, and then of service isn't the right word, but I truly get an incredible sense of purpose from guiding others. And there's this, like, you walk through your stuff and you're willing to like face it with courage and the willingness to like do it even though it's scary. And then once you're in, it's the willingness to keep going. And that's how I live my life. And then once I've gone through it, what fulfills me the most is then to guide others through the same thing. Because if I've walked through it and have done it, like I have a natural, and I think like I told you about that personality session I did this year and then all the human design work I did. And it just confirmed more and more and more in every reading and everything. And like everything I've ever done, I'm like, yeah, that is me. Like, I'm made that way. And I've noticed like I do get fulfillment from like creative expression and gifting back to other people and feeling like I'm a part of something bigger, but my individual expression of me is what contributes that. And it's taken me a while to figure out like, where is that exactly? And I've kind of hit around the edges with things like yoga and teaching high school and then being a mom. And I feel like finally now with my own business, and especially like this next program I'm releasing this week, like this Bounce Back Babes, is an expression of like everything in my life. It's like walking through like changing job and relationships, and at the same time being a single mom, and at the same time like prioritizing like I'm not going to work all the time. So it's like, rather than segmenting, I looked at like freedom, family, relaxation time, personal development time. Like, the reason I desire money is not for money, it's so that I can have space to like what you like to do, like go to workshops and grow myself and meditate and like not be on a computer 10 hours a day. So it all flows together. So I would say I wake up and I focus on, okay, what's been working? Where's the flow? Where's what's light? Where's that gut, like the full body yes? And I just moved towards that and I let it unfold in the moment and I don't know what the fuck is happening. And then like today I had this moment with the universe where I was like, wow, thank you. Like all these pieces just seem to go in place that have been up in the air for like 2 years. And I told the universe, I'm like, I'm sorry, I told you to fuck off, universe, but thank you. I did a Fearless Femme episode on it today because I'm like, we all have these phases where we're like, what the fuck am I doing? And it seems like nothing is working. But I've always had this faith that I know there's a bigger plan if I just surrender, if I just surrender, if I just surrender. And I listened to the surrender experiment. I started meditating more. And I just like got out of my past habits of what I thought was helping me and just really was in the question of like, what am I here to create? Like, what is true for me? So it's really been like asking those questions, but getting clear on what I value. And it's like, I value time with my family. I value a balance. I value freedom. I value expression. And then from there, the universe then gifts back to you what your version of that is. But I think there was a real clear thing that when I got clear on that with the universe, I was like, hey, this can show up anyway. I don't care like what job it is, what relationship it is, what my family looks like. But I'm like, this is what I'm here for. This is what I value. And I'm going to follow the energy for that. And then you show me the way. And so that's how I operate. And I think it's a beautiful question. And that's where I think I started, was looking, like really spending time and writing and reading and like just journaling about like, what is that for me? And what do I want my 24-hour day to look like? I did that too. I got like my ideal 24 hours. What does it look like? And I was like, oh, I have time to like be with my body and meditate. I have time to read a book or study a course. And then I'm working with clients because I love to give back. And then I have time to be with my daughters and not be on my phone. And then I have time to go on a date. Like I really looked at all that because I was like, I value this. Like I want this whole epicness in my whole life where it's not just about one area. So this is a long message, but I hope that gives you a bit of the download. And if more questions arise from that, let me know, because it actually is beautiful question and also clarifying for me to try to express it in words. It's kind of difficult. So I don't know if I'm doing a great job, but that's kind of the energy of it. All right. Have a beautiful night. I hope you got something out of that episode. If you like this podcast, please share it with someone you know who'd find it useful or interesting, and subscribe so that you can listen to past and upcoming shows.